Hey, so I'd like to talk about probability in this video. I have a coin. It is heads on one side, tails on the other. It's a 1988 coin, the year that I was born. And I want you to think about, what are the odds right now that I flip this coin? What are the odds that it's going to be heads, and what are the odds that it's going to be tails? Probably 50-50, right? I mean, this is not a weighted coin. It's just a standard U.S. quarter. But I want you to think about it, and I want you to think hard, and I want you to be sure. Okay? And I want you to go ahead and make a bet. Heads or tails. Doesn't even matter. Whatever. I'm going to flip the coin now. Let's see what it comes out to be. And I dropped it. That's lame. Alright. Sorry, we'll redo it. And it's tails. How about that? That's pretty interesting. The specific area of probability that I want to look at in this video is whether past affects the future. Imagine we had a roulette wheel, and we were watching this roulette wheel in a casino, and 5 times in a row it landed on black. Now, is it to our advantage to bet on red? Because it's about a 50-50 chance between black and red, and with 5 blacks in a row, it seems like it has to be red soon, so is it in our advantage to bet red? Or, to simplify it, let's imagine a coin. And imagine we flipped this coin 4 times in a row and got heads in all 4. Is it more likely that it'll be tails in the next one, or is it still 50-50? Now, the way I'd like to actually analyze this problem is by taking a real coin and flipping it until I get it either heads or tails 4 times in a row. And then we'll talk about afterward what the next flip is likely to be. So that might take a little time. I'm going to fast forward the video and or put a little clip at the bottom, little annotation that says what time you should skip to, so you can not have to watch me, but I want the proof in the video. You'll just have to trust me that I'm not lying about whether it's heads or tails. I'm not. So here we go. Tails. Heads. Tails. Heads. Tails. Heads. This is weird. Tails. Heads. Wow. Tails. Heads. Tails. I haven't gotten 2 in a row yet. Heads. Tails. This is ridiculous. Heads. Tails. Come on. Tails. 2 in a row. Heads. Tails. Heads. Heads. 2 heads. Tails. Heads. Tails. Heads. Tails. Tails. 2 tails. 3 tails. Come on. Heads. Heads. That's 2. 3 heads. 4 heads. Alright, there it is. 4 heads in a row. That was ridiculous for a long time. It was heads, tails, heads, tails, heads, tails. So I got 4 heads in a row. So what are the chances that the next one is heads? Is it more likely that it's tails? Because this is a 50-50 coin. And if we look at those 4 heads in a row, in order for this to be a 50-50 coin, the tails has got to come up soon. I just set a record, and it took me a while to do it. You may have watched it. It took me a while to get 4 heads in a row. What are the odds that I would set a new record and get 5 heads in a row? It seems very unlikely. And you know, maybe you think the odds are the same, but I want you to think, if you had $1 million right now and you had to bet, would you bet that the next one is heads and that I'm going to set a new record, or that the next one is tails? Or would you say that it doesn't matter, that it's totally irrelevant, and maybe you'll flip a coin to decide whether you're going to bet heads or tails? And while you're thinking about that, I'd like to say a few words before I introduce the next flip, and we'll see what it is, but this might sound a little familiar. Hey, so I'd like to talk about probability in this video. I have a coin. It is heads on one side, tails on the other. It's a 1988 coin, the year that I was born. And I want you to think about, what are the odds right now that I flip this coin? What are the odds that it's going to be heads, and what are the odds that it's going to be tails? Probably 50-50, right? I mean, this is not a weighted coin. It's just a standard U.S. quarter. But I want you to think about it, and I want you to think hard, and I want you to be sure. Okay? And I want you to go ahead and make a bet. Heads or tails. Doesn't even matter. Whatever. I'm going to flip the coin now. Let's see what it comes out to be. And I dropped it. That's lame. Alright. Sorry, we'll redo it. And it's tails. How about that? That's pretty interesting. So, now that you've watched that whole sequence and you realize that the last coin flip of that series of 5 was actually the first flip that you bet on, if you bet it was 50-50 before, why would you now say that it's not 50-50? Now, it did end up being tails, so the chain was broken, but I would submit to you that for every time that the chain is broken, it would also not be broken. There's a 50-50 chance. The odds are the same that I would get 4 heads and then a 5th head, as the odds would be for getting 4 heads and then tails. And we can look at a graph or chart or graph or chart and actually look at that more detailed. So let's go ahead and do that. So now if we look at this, we can see that the probability of getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 heads in a row is 1 in 32. And a simple way to calculate that is 2 to the 5th. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. You can see there are 32 options at the bottom. And if we go on the heads only route, it's 1 in 32. And so that's usually the justification that's why that last one must be tails, because there's only a 1 in 32 chance of getting 5 heads in a row. Or if we look at this, we can see that there are 6 different ways that we can have 4 heads and 1 tail. But the difference is, the fallacy of this argument is that we know already that there are 4 heads, and they are the first 4, and so the odds of there being 4 heads and then 1 head are the exact same as we see here as getting 4 heads and then 1 tail. There's no other way to get 4 heads and then 1 tail except to get 4 heads and then 1 tail. So the odds of both happening are 1 in 32, and since they're equal, then once we have those 4 heads already, then it's just a 50-50 chance between the two. So that's about all I had to say for now. I hope it made sense, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, just leave them in the comment section or give me a video response. I love those. So see you next time.